everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Update Special Classic, whatever. What are we calling it? Update Special Edition?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
good
was
for
right.
us. Yeah. Aren't you guys excited? Another update. We love them. We love giving them to you. We love bringing them to you. I know you're thirsting for more. Good news. There is more out there. You know, I'm going to say it. Viall Files Plus. And if you love this update special, you are going to love the 14 additional update specials behind Viall Files Plus. So when you get done with this update, go catch yourself up on all the other stories that we have some updates on. Is there anything you guys want to just like announce to our audience or anything like that?
I'm pregnant.
Oh, congratulations, Allie. All right.
With my baby.
Okay.
You asked for an announcement.
Like a food baby or?
Nick. You're not allowed to ask a woman that.
I don't know. Well, I was just confirmed. I don't know if the other people, nowadays, I'm not sure what we can or cannot say, Can we joke about pregnancy?
Ask your fiance.
She doesn't give a shit. She got pregnant.
Got pregnant?
I'm not actually pregnant. That would be a miracle. It would be a Virgin Mary type of situation without the Virgin.
The Blessed Mother and Allison Martin.
What?
Sharing a seat at the throne.
Oh, okay.
A lot of Catholic jokes out there.
I've never heard the Blessed Mother. That's so elevated.
That's a hardcore Catholic right there. Queen
Mary, Queen Mother.
Queen Mother Mary.
Notre Dame.
I went to La Sagrada Familia and I was like,
beautiful church.
Yeah, I had a moment where I was like, I really understood religion. It contextualized like why religion is so impactful. I'm like, oh my God, being in a space like this, I really see why it was such and continues to be presence in people's lives and like source of reverence.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy. Stained glass for days.
Oh yeah.
That's my announcement. La Sagrada Familia. Beautiful.
You're like, oh, stained glass. Why? This is why these people believe in this crazy shit.
I love stained glass, and I feel like that would be like my most unhinged interior design choice. Would be like trying to like get a little stained glass window in there.
And I was speaking for Amanda, not me. I don't think it's crazy shit. Just a minute. Just kidding. To each their own.
Thank you.
Whatever you believe in, we support.
We do. We sure do.
Well,
do yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, Red or Inner?
Yep. From Wells Adams episode.
Remember?
I thought Wells wrote in.
No.
Put him on blast.
Yeah.
No, remember she called in. She'd been Instagram DMing someone with kind of a following, and she was like unsure of how to elevate it.
The
how to take it to
podcaster.
level.
Oh yeah, and I know who that is.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. She told us secretly.
Because they were talking.
Yes.
They were talking.
Like FaceTiming every day or something.
That's significant.
And she had the girls' trip to his city, but the girls' trip got canceled. She wasn't sure if she should still go or not.
And our advice to her was to tell him the girls' trip fell through, but like I could still come. So she messaged us. She said, I ended up telling him on FaceTime that the girls' trip was canceled. The way I brought it up was I told him I got good news and bad news. Bad news is the girls' trip is canceled. As Wells predicted, I was able to see instantly that he was bummed out. And then I said the good news is I'm still willing to come out for you. We ended up picking a different weekend because it works better for his schedule. He seemed genuinely excited about having a few days instead of just a little bit of time. I did bring up how I'm typically more reserved and not to have high expectations sexually for that weekend. He simply said, I was able to tell that you are reserved and we will go at whatever type of pace you're comfortable. Flights and hotel have been booked.
Okay.
That's so awesome.
That's an amazing update.
I love that.
That's so exciting. So we'll have to check back in.
Do we know what weekend it ended up being?
It was supposed to be in October, but
okay.
She said they picked a different weekend.
Okay.
But maybe
so
a different weekend in October.
Okay.
I'll ask.
If this becomes a successful relationship, we demand that they come on Ask Nick.
Yes. That's
Please.
good.
We'll promote his show.
On Ask Nick? You want them to come on Ask Nick?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. Or an update.
Yeah.
An
Okay.
update.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's like the opposite of mediation. It's like the victory lap.
Yeah.
You know, where people who have no issues are just like, we're happy.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. We're happy for you. Jessica.
Well, next step's great. We love. So they picked a weekend. The FaceTime every day is significant.
Def.
That's big.
Yeah.
The if he wanted to, he would kind of thing. Like, for all the people, it's like, we went on a date and I've heard from him in 7 days.
My question for her, though, is did he pay for the flight or the hotel?
I don't think he needs to. I don't think that's his responsibility.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's something where it's
responsibility,
not responsibility, but like could be a really nice
curious.
gesture to acknowledge that like she's taking she's taking the time to travel.
She is going to him,
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on that. It's definitely
Really?
possible.
Did you pay for Natalie's flights when she would come out here?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then
Damn,
what
you
mixed
rich,
feelings
son.
do you have about it?
I think you can. I don't think you need to.
Okay.
You know.
I didn't say he needed to. I was just like curious if he did.
I also think it if you pay for yourself, I mean, you know, granted, I'm glad she set those expectations about sex, you know.
Yeah.
But when you pay things for yourself, it just makes you feel a little bit better about, you know.
1,000%.
That's
because
true.
Not that you owe them if you do. It's just
I think it's easier
There's
to
less
feel
weight
like
off your
indebted to
yes,
them.
yeah.
Like, even though you know I owe them nothing, I can do whatever I'm comfortable with. If they do like pay for your stuff, I think it can be very easy to enter a mindset of like wanting to be accommodating towards their like hopes and dreams for the weekend.
if they start dating and it's long distance, then I think
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't pay, like when Natalie and I met up in New York, I didn't pay for her flight.
Mm.
You know, but when we started
Interesting.
hanging out on a regular basis and I was like, hey, I want to see you, fly out to LA. Well, that's exciting. Wow. Do we know
Yay.
when? Is it soon?
I just asked that.
Originally, it was supposed to be in October. She said they picked a different weekend, but it could be a different weekend in October. I will ask.
I was gonna say, because like October is a whole month. And like, get on it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll ask.
No, I'm excited
My
to find
God.
out.
Okay. Well, this is exciting. We're excited. I hope it works out. All right, let's get to our first caller update.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
Welcome back, drama Debbie, my drama
Hey,
queen.
Nick.
How are you?
I actually have COVID right now. Kind of stuff. But how are you?
Of course you do.
Nick, COVID selects
There's
people
always a
at
story with
random.
Debbie.
Ugh.
Did a love interest give it to you?
Yeah.
That would be classic.
COVID's going around LA right now.
It's
Everyone
true.
I know has it.
No, I know.
It is
I know. What's up, Debs?
So I've learned a lot from you. The last episode,
Say more.
you told me I'm addicted to toxic stimulation and drama.
I did.
So
Yeah. Maybe let's play a quick
Nick-
clip to remind our audience of the harsh but necessary feedback that I delivered to you last update. Welcome back, Debbie.
hey Nick, how are you?
So good. How are you?
I'm okay. I can use your help.
Okay. Let's play a quick clip and get a quick update, a reminder of what she called about. Welcome back, Debbie. Bring us up to speed. So this is your second update. And last time we talked, you were dabbling in the dating women arena.
Yes. So I was dating a man and a woman and deciding which one to go with.
And
And so I ended up dating the woman, continuing to go with that. So I dated this woman and it's been like a couple months and it was honestly very solid. I actually even told my parents about it, which was a big deal for me as well. I learned kind of far in the relationship that she was non-monogamous, learning that like late into kind of our relationship was kind of unfair in a lot of ways. And when she told me that, I liked her so much that I tried to just accept it and just make it work for myself, even though I was like not being true to my own values about it. And it ended up turning into be a disaster. And so I'm calling because I'm like not over the situation. I'm just like, I'm upset.
And this
how
is the first
ended.
woman you've ever dated?
Seriously, yeah.
That in itself, I would imagine, could be kind of intense and new. And the fact that you were rejected by her, I can imagine that might fuck with you. This is all to say, like, you know, maybe just got to give yourself some time and some grace. You know, most breakups are shitty and rejection sucks. And when we're rejected by someone, we do this weird thing like put them on a pedestal. But I'm just wondering if maybe it's just more everything that you're sad about and the fact that she was inconsiderate during the breakup and things like that. But I doubt very much that she is going to be irreplaceable. And so I think you just have to accept and grieve the loss. I think you would serve yourself well if you would just accept the fact that she was inconsiderate and that maybe she's just more of an inconsiderate person than you thought she was, and then move on, rather than tell yourself that you are owed this by her, and then she basically has a debt to pay. Because when we say things like, well, I deserve this, I was owed this by them, Well, in your mind, then you're kind of thinking, well, if they haven't given you what they owed you, they still owe you, and then therefore you have to hold them accountable, and then you have a hard time letting go of the thing that you think they owe you. Except that this is how she handled it. That can be part of the moving on process. Like, hey, what I want is a considerate person. When we were vibing, when she was getting what she wanted, when she needed, we had good chemistry. She met my emotional needs. But when things weren't going her way, I couldn't count on her. Being able to count on someone is a big part of a relationship. And being a big part of being able to count on someone is their willingness to step up when you need them, not just only when they're available. And so you would be better served thinking of the narrative that way rather than I was owed this by her and I still haven't gotten it. So therefore, I need to keep telling myself that she owes me and then stay emotionally kind of stuck and invested in her. Are you deliberately messy just so you can come back on the show? Or
I know. What is this, like the third or fourth time now?
Debbie is a staple of this show.
Yeah,
for
sure.
the listeners,
Yeah.
Debbie is the
dare you,
iconic
Nick,
caller that has brought
insinuate.
you things like romantic trysts, basketball makeouts.
Transitioning to dating women?
Yes,
Okay. Are you still dating women?
I am dating women primarily.
Primarily, okay.
When we last spoke, I was dating a man and a woman, and then I leaned into the woman, and then we
She dumped
ended
you.
things, and that was where we left off last time.
Okay. Was there advice I offered or?
Yeah, so last time I was all upset how she ended over a voice note. I was really upset. You told me not to really overthink it, and I don't need closure. I can like move on my own.
Did you
Which
listen to me
ultimately
or
did
no?
not turn out well.
So you didn't take my advice and then reached back out to her?
Correct.
Oh, Nick's angry.
No, I mean, but I'm sure life taught you the lesson I was trying to.
It did. It really did. You, my therapist, like I feel like both of us were kind of like leading each other on, if you will.
I would argue that neither of you were leading each other on. She was operating on the assumption that you understood what she communicated to you earlier, which is she's not monogamous. You were just ignoring yourself and your needs and what you wanted, and you were leading yourself on. You were not also respecting your boundaries that you communicated to yourself about that you were looking for someone and you want to invest in someone who does want a monogamous relationship. So she wasn't leading you on. You were just ignoring your boundaries. I think you in particular love drama, obsessed with it. You're addicted to it. And you need to like fucking adjust. And I think you should actually practice not sharing your dramatic stories because it's your ability to tell the story that keeps you addicted to it. It's the payoff. If you have no one listening to your stories, there's no reason to experience the drama.
So maybe you don't release this episode then.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. There's some good nuggets in here.
Debbie.
Don't do it to us, Debbie.
If you are in fact serious about meeting someone, something's going to have to wake you up. You can only come back on if you have a story of self-control.
Oh my God.
I'm being serious. And I love talking to you, but you don't get to come back on to be like, I have another dramatic story and another example in which I ignored my needs and then ask me advice. I'm going to give you the same answer.
So then what's the reason to come on?
I mean, maybe
Be like, I've turned my life around.
implementing something that you learned and having success from it and feeling good about it and then sharing a best practice and taking a step in the right direction and demonstrating your actual consideration and self-love, for yourself and feeling good about it rather than calling up and be like, I have another messy story. Oh my God, I was dramatic. All right, we're back. Still stings. Well, in your words, why don't you I'm curious, in your words, what did I say to you?
You told me that I'm too dramatic and that I'm all about the drama and I don't really know what I want because I just like, stories and getting attention.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it loud and clear.
All right. And where are we now?
So I had my therapist listen to that episode, by the way.
Really? What did she say?
We talked a lot. She agrees with you. But we talked a lot about that. And I honestly have made such good improvements. I wanted to share
Wonderful.
with how I'm dating right now more intentionally already in the past 2 weeks. It's already been astronomical.
Incredible.
Tell us more.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so I matched with somebody on Hinge, and they're a little older than me. So I'm 28 and they're 34. So a little older, more mature. It's a
Mhm.
woman. And we met at a bar for the first date. It ended up being a 6-hour date.
Oh.
I met her friends. We went to like a kickback in someone's backyard. Um, it was like really nice, chill, getting to know her. But I did have, hesitations because it wasn't that original spark that I had originally with some other people.
Probably a good sign.
It's hard for me though. Like I'm really wanting that spark
No,
and
yeah, you
wanting
want the
that.
drama.
Yeah.
That's for
So
you.
it's
The
been
spark
hard.
is the drama. For you, it is you are looking for that unexplainable feeling that justifies you acting out of control, and so you avoid stability and calmness.
So this is she's very
that's
calm.
yeah. But what I'm saying is like you not finding the spark on a first date is probably a very good thing for you. So, what did you do after the first date?
So I'm very intrigued by her. I feel like there's lots of mystery too, which is usually I kind of like dump myself all in and kind of, have them follow me on social media and get to know the person that way. But we've been having boundaries, or we haven't followed each other yet on social media. This was her doing, by the way, not me.
She
But
said to
after the first
you,
date, she went out of town for a while.
How did it even come up
yeah.
about social media and following?
Yeah, so I kind of asked. I was like, "Here's my social." 'Cause I had a funny story. Obvious. I had a funny story on my story that I wanted her to see, and then she was like, "Can you iMessage it to me? Because I don't really like to follow people for the first few dates as I get to know somebody."
She said that.
She said that.
Great. Yeah. It's kind of weird to immediately follow. Do you do that? Do you like, and did you tell her that you had a story because you wanted her to follow you and that was a passive aggressive way?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, that's weird.
It is weird. It's weird behavior. I know that was weird. That was weird of me to do
Debbie,
that.
I consider us friends. And at this point, I'm going to pull 0 punches with you because we just don't have the time to beat around the bush. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's super weird to start following people you go on a date with because most first dates don't get to second or third dates. And then you have to like, why are you following someone you went on one date with? That's bizarre. And thank you for being honest, but like this need for like to get like you're trying to lock someone down immediately through like passive aggressive behavior. You are trying to find stability through superficial means because you somehow have convinced yourself that her following you is important or it means something to the success of her liking you or their relationship. And it's totally superficial. So good for her for saying the obvious and normal thing, which is like, hey, I'm just not comfortable with that right now. She sounds like, someone that I'm glad you found, and so where are we now with her? How long ago was this first date?
Yeah, so it's been 2 weeks since the first date because I was out of town and she was out of town, and now I have COVID. We were supposed to go out tonight, actually.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a virtual date night tonight. I've never done one of those
Love
before.
that. Who suggested that?
It was actually me that suggested it because I
Okay.
wanted to
Good for you.
keep things going.
Okay.
We've been texting back and forth, but I'd rather see her face.
All right. What is your goal for tonight's date?
So I want to get to know her, obviously. I guess I shouldn't say there was no spark. There was a little bit of spark, obviously, because I want to see her again.
She's just being upfront and honest with her feelings and communicating so you're not left to wonder or ruminate about whether she likes you or not. And there's not some dramatic story and you don't get to go to your friends or us to be like, well, I don't really get what she's doing and she's doing this and then I fainted and blah, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just normal and appropriately boring for what has only been one date.
But your first date was 6 hours long. Like, that is a story if you want it to be a story. There was obviously some sort of spark that you hung out for. Like, what did you do for 6 hours? Like, you could tell people that. Like, it's just
I'm reluctant to like even
reframing.
ask for her story because I almost want her to enjoy
point. Yeah,
not
good
having the story. But yeah, it sounds like you had a nice first date and it lasted 6 hours. And that, to Genevieve's point, is reason enough to like be optimistic about the potential of this first date. You don't need to do anything more than just be excited about the potential and then open to getting to know her more. And again, what is your goal for this second date?
Yes, I wanted some advice since I want to get to know her, obviously. So usually I feel like I use social media as like kind of a crutch to get to know somebody, like to see like their hobbies and interests, to see if there's anything like
Instead
that
of
we have
asking,
in common.
instead of
We've talked a
asking,
little bit about it,
yeah.
but I'd love to know more about like her in general, like growing up, those things like that. But I feel like it's
Amazing.
hard when there's no like physical body language to pick up on.
You're Zooming, so you can certainly read her body language. You're not going to be touching, so as long as she's on camera, you can certainly read her body language. But even if you can't, like, you can still ask her questions and you can learn about her childhood. You can learn about her wants and desires, things like that. You can certainly get to know her better via a Zoom date. It might not last 6 hours, and it might not be filled with drama, and it might not be a fun story to tell your friends or call us, but you can certainly learn a lot about her. That's for sure.
Do you have any good question ideas?
What do you want to learn? It's just like to show an interest. Be curious about her and ask follow-up questions. Follow-up questions are the key. So whatever she says, oh, that's interesting. Why? Tell me more.
I agree with the follow-up questions, something that I've also tried to do as well. And this is maybe more for like texting or dating app things, but I think it's easy to fall into the traps of, oh, what did you do yesterday? Or what did you do this past weekend? Which that's a data point in and of itself. But I've tried to challenge myself to be like, what does your dream Saturday look like? Or what does a typical this look like? Because even if they did something, crazy yesterday, how do our lives really go together in certain ways? Or what is something that is, something that they're really passionate about or something that they do really frequently? So even if you get the data points of, what they did in the past week, maybe that was just a random week. We're trying to get kind of an overall scope of who she is as a person.
What her interests are. Just keep it conversational. Be less interviewing. Just be, how was your day? Go from there. I don't know what she's going to say, but to Allie's point, she'll talk about her day like, oh, do you normally do that? Or is that something you've done for the first time? Or if she tells you a story about oh, well, let me tell you about my day. I got really stressed out when X, Y, or Z happened. I'm like, oh, wow, show some empathy. That must have been hard. How did that make you feel? Just connect. And focus on connecting and focus on getting to know her rather than you on dates are constantly in your head asking yourself, do I feel a spark? Is this dramatic? The only person you've been caring about on first dates is yourself. And how
first dates, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I want you to focus on her and solely focus on getting to know her and be open and allow her the chance to get to know you. But that's up to her if she makes it a priority. But so far, she sounds like a relatively healthy person. Listen, she still brought you around her friends and family on her first date. That's a bit, much. But like, if it made sense, then fine. I don't know what her intentions were there. But, I hear that you ladies, when you date, you like to move quickly. So word on the street. So
that's stereotype, but yeah, it's true.
But try to be the, thank God you have someone who at least doesn't want to start following each other. But like, challenge each other to take things slow. And you can say things like, I've really enjoyed getting to know you so far. Emphasis on so far. No matter what you learn about her tonight or what she learns about you, you will still know a fraction of each other or what you have a chance to learn. I don't know if that made any sense, but you get my point. And it's your job to get to know her and allow her to get to know you, to be open to answer her questions, to give meaty answers, to elaborate on follow-up questions, and just be open and be chill, and to not analyze the date in real time. And when you get done with the date, then you can check in with yourself and ask yourself, oh, how did I feel about that? Then the only feeling that you should really be concerned about is the one of like clarity. Do not be searching for the intangible, whatever feeling that you can't explain, like the spark. And I hope that you get excited about her if you like her. You like confusion, and clarity almost makes you uncomfy. And so you are on a date here trying to get clarity. So I think that's all you should do.
Yeah, I definitely feel not in my comfort zone right now. Like, I definitely like
That's okay.
her, but I'm feeling, she's almost too calm, which is it's good.
And at some point you can say that. You
me.
can maybe, I wouldn't get too much into it, right? I don't want to spill the beans on everything about yourself, but I think at some point, if it feels right, if it makes sense, you can say, listen, you can be a little vulnerable and say, I'm kind of in this transitional period in my life when it comes to dating. I've had a bad habit in the past of, I think, chasing the wrong things and moving things a little too quickly. So, this connection I'm developing with you is new to me, and I'm really enjoying the healthy pace at which it's going. And honestly, thank you, by the way. Thank you for setting that boundary about social media, because, I'm not used to that almost like healthy behavior, but I really appreciate it. See how she responds to that. Go from there.
I will. That sounds great. I'm excited.
All right. Well, good luck. I'm glad that you suggested the Zoom date. Feel better. And then check in with us down the road and we'll go from there.
Also, if you get
Thank
stuck in a
you.
rut, just Google like great date questions or whatever. I do that with friends even
Play a
sometimes
game.
too. Yeah.
Just do
It's
that,
always
like, play
fun
this
to
or
learn
that.
more about people.
Yeah.
And
This-
you can Google something or share your screen.
Random
or-
questions. Yeah, you can Google like fun first date questions,
Yeah.
list of random fucking questions, this or that. Do you like the East Coast or the West Coast? Do you like to be hot or cold, big or small? I don't care. Polka dots or stripes. It doesn't matter. Make it a conversation. And you can hey, I know this is silly, but I kind of like these games because they're icebreaker games, and just acknowledge it. You want to play an icebreaker game? And if she thinks it's silly, then fine. But there's nothing wrong with you suggesting ways to make conversations easy between you and your date.
No, I love that. I will try that. Also, I noticed a huge difference, by the way, since our last conversation. So thank you for that clarity that you gave me, truly, because my therapist tried to tell me that for years. And somehow it clicked for me when you told me, and all those negative comments on your YouTube video about Debbie as well really got to me.
What oh, were you on YouTube?
Debbie, I
You
told
can't
you,
look at
you
the
can't do
comments.
that,
Don't read the
Debbie.
comments, Debbie.
I
We
can't
told
look
you,
at the
you can't do
comments.
that.
Genevieve and I struggle with comments. Don't do it.
Don't do it
But
to yourself.
also, I don't even really care about your feelings. I just care about your drama. And you love the drama, and you fucking loved it, even if it hurt. The brain prefers pain to boredom. And you hate being bored more than fucking anything. And you don't even mind pain, which is why you read that shit. But it's a bit narcissistic, and it's a bit self-centered. Like, the fact that people read fucking shit about themselves is self-centered in and of itself. So just remember that. You're not allowed to read those comments, Deb.
Come on, Tips.
Have you read comments about yourself on The Bachelor?
Sure, I have, but I do a really pretty good job relative to my peers of not doing it. But we all have done narcissistic and self-centered things in our lives. It's just important that we recognize it and try not to replicate those behaviors. Everyone's done it, but it's not good. It's not healthy. And to hopefully help you stop is to recognize that it's a self-centered thing you're doing. It's not serving you. It's not adding any value to your life. There's no data information to go on. It's just people talk. It's you being the center of attention and you getting off on it, even if that center of attention is criticism. So no more comments. Can't read the comments.
No more comments. And Debbie's drama turned into Debbie's do-over, I feel like,
All right.
Ooh.
There you go.
That's a
Love
rebrand.
that.
All right.
I love a rebrand.
Well, good luck on your date. We'll check in and we'll get an update in the future.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, Debbie. Good luck.
Love you, Debs.
Feel better.
Love you,
Okay.
Debs.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. What an update.
Literally, we have another written update,
Mhm.
and this one's exciting too. It was Erin. She was on Oh So recently, episode 640, and she wrote in because she was in a threesome where everyone caught feelings.
Ah, yes.
Remember, her friend caught feelings for her again.
She
And
was
she
wasn't
had
she
feelings.
new she dated more women than men, but she was
The friend.
her too, I thought, right?
Did
She
she
was
say
just
she
like-
dated more women?
I
She was
felt like-
definitely bi.
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
felt like she leaned more toward I felt like this guy was an outlaw.
I think the guy was an outlier for the friend, but they were just fuck buddies.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that was the friend. I also
Rory.
remember
Yes.
that
and Nat.
the guy, the caller had seen him outside of the threesome and hadn't told the friend
Yeah,
about
she
it. And
hadn't
that was
told
like a big
Nat
part
that
of the
she'd hung out with
betrayal.
Yeah,
Rory.
they were. Yeah, they started fucking on the side.
Yeah.
So, She says, because we encouraged her
She
to
was
tell
longing
Nat.
for the schlonging.
Okay. Interesting. I did end up having that tough conversation with Nat, my friend, and we are moving past it with a bit more boundaries in our friendship. We are still very close. I also brought up the topic of my directness or lack thereof to my therapist, and we are working on it. She made a good point of me having a fear of male rejection, which resonates and feels like a tangible thing I can heal, let go of. I'm grateful to Nick that he pointed that out because my lack of directness bleeds a lot into my life, not just romantic
Wait, what did I
dynamics.
point out?
That she
The fear of rejection.
and that she's not very direct. Like she, in
Oh,
her
yeah,
mind, it was
yeah,
clear
no.
to her that she had feelings for Rory, and you were like, it's not clear at all. I'm sure he's very confused. You're not being very direct.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah. But she said, I never came clean to Rory about my crush. He never really came around with any effort. And I don't know, when I thought about it, I realized that I was briefly dickmatized and telling myself a story of what he could be rather than taking him for what he showed me he is. Maybe if we connect again, I'll come clean about the potential I thought I saw. Honestly, I was kind of just waiting to listen back for how Nick worded it so that she could tell him
Well, it's out.
through our words. Yeah. Girl.
Episode 640.
But she says now 8 years single.
I think
Quinn.
she's chickening out. I do. I
Huh?
think she's making excuses.
Well, she said,
But what if she realized she was dickmatized and she actually doesn't want to pursue something with Rory?
That would have been fine until she immediately followed it up with, but if we hook up again, maybe I'll tell him.
But she does say, like, I got back in my lane and stopped focusing on the boy drama, which kind of is I don't know, as a way of phrasing it, makes it seem like it's not super impactful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is her guy. And my insistence on her saying it is more like an exercise for her
Yeah,
rather
like a
than.
lesson.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like get good at just being honest with people about your feelings, especially the people you're getting naked with. You know, it's good practice to be open with those people about how you're feeling, however it is you're feeling.
Especially if now she's like, I don't really know if I even want things to go that way with him. Then there's like no stakes to just be like, I kind of had feelings for you. I don't know if I do anymore.
My gut tells me the I don't know if I do anymore is her trying to read the situation. She pointed out that he's not doing the things, that he's not the if he wanted to he would type of things that make it obvious.
He's not
that,
our podcaster.
Yeah, he's not going out of his way, and so she is using that to so now she's just like anticipating the potential rejection, and so she's backed off as a result of that. And she might be reading the situation correctly, but the point is she doesn't really know. And as someone who's acknowledged and admitted this habit of avoiding, upfront communication and just being direct and putting yourself out there and being vulnerable at the risk of being rejected, this seems awfully too similar to this pattern. We're very convincing liars to ourselves. Amanda and I were talking about this after we were recapping episodes 1 through 4 of Love is Blind. Like what I loved so much about, Love is Blind in general, and specifically this season, is like it really shows the subtleties between people's versions of their stories. And when I say no one lies to us more than we lie to ourselves, you have a bunch of people in Love is Blind like telling these little slight lies to what really truly themselves, they're communicating to their castmates and things like that about like, well, I didn't really want them, or they didn't really want, it's like we like to ease the blow of us feeling rejected or when we feel not enough. And my gut tells me is that there's still something there. If she can say, well, maybe if we hook up in the future, maybe I'll tell him about potential cost, tells me there's still something there. And even that something there is to simply say, hey, this is not transactional for me. This is not like us just fucking when we're horny. Like I feel some kind of connection. Don't know what the connection is, but like I just want to be upfront about that with you. And that's like healthy communication. And I think our wonderful writer Inner is, might be talking herself out of healthy communication, of which she has a pattern of. And we're very clever liars to ourselves, is all I'm saying. So something to consider if you're listening. There is no harm in just putting it out there, other than, yes, a little disappointment potentially. I feel like we have a pretty good track record of challenging people, and we have many people like this. They generally always feel better afterwards, and it's never usually as hard as they anticipated. When was the last time we've challenged someone to speak up and say something? They're like, never fucking again.
And I think that's because people know that, you do challenge people or like feel comfortable not sugarcoating things. Like I think oftentimes people like kind of seek that out when they call in. Like they already have that inclination of knowing that they want to be held accountable to do something that's a little more brave or direct or communicative.
Yeah,
And
I don't
so
really care about this guy. I just care about her ability to
feel empowered to communicate how she feels.
and not kind of Jedi mind trick herself into why this, you know what, I will next time, or, oh, this isn't the right time to be communicative, or I don't really need to right now, because that's her bad habit. She's very good at convincing herself that it's not necessary, that direct communication isn't necessary. And she's very good at doing that. And my guess is she's doing it here a little bit.
Totally.
If you're listening, there's still time.
Or if it's fizzled out, let it fizzle out for good.
Don't fuck again. But if you do,
Gotta say something.
gotta say something. All right, let's get to our next caller. Welcome back, Katie.
Hi,
How are you?
I am doing so much better.
Love that. Last time we talked, this is our third update with Katie.
We've had some writtens as
Yeah,
well,
sounds right.
some written updates. Yeah.
So for our audience, you obviously had this situationship with this guy who went to the same gym as you, and you were having a hard time moving on. You were very reluctantly not wanting to leave the gym. I gave you some tough love. Let's play a quick clip from the last update we got and some of the tough love that I gave you.
We have an update from our caller, Katie. She originally called in because of the situationship with her CrossFit coach, and then called in on the most recent classic update. And so we have a written update just to hear how she was doing last time we spoke to her.
When I told her at this point it's all her fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did, I think, meet the hard, what is it? Is it hard love? Tough love.
That was she was very, she was in the, I'm going to make all the excuses in the world to not do the one thing I know I need to do to stop the thing that I keep complaining about.
Yeah, I think she was also like really
Very relatable.
really feeling the friction of like, wait, it's one thing to say I need to leave this gym. It's another thing to like actually go through the inconvenience of like leaving this community, etc. So we spoke to her. You were very fervent on making some changes, really cutting him out, removing
Did she
all
leave the gym?
accesses. So thanks for checking in. I'm doing a lot better. Since we've last spoke, I visited 3 different gyms. I haven't found one that's a good fit for me just yet, but I'm optimistic. I'm still training at my current gym in between. I've been taking classes that my ex doesn't coach, so I've been able to avoid him for the most part. If I do happen to see him when he's there, I make sure to have my friend or sister as a buffer there with me. I've been in communication with another gym owner and texting about doing a 30-day trial. Thanks again for reaching out. I appreciate all the help and advice you guys have offered me through the last few months. So she's making moves.
It's okay. I still think
I know.
she's dragging her feet. She doesn't have to find the perfect gym.
Katie,
She
if
just
you're
needs
listening,
to leave the gym.
I really hope you've pulled the trigger by now. I have faith that you have, but we'll be hopefully getting another.
It's just one of those things when we whether we need to get over a person or a situation, maybe we got involved in some drama with a group of people. It's just we're human beings, and we aren't machines. We can't just like turn off things that matter to us. We can't just shut down that parts of our brain that emotionally trigger us and things like that. And it's just one of she is never going to be fully over this until she has enough break of time with no access to him. And so is it better? Sure. But she even said she still runs into him. She still sees him. She has to, think about it. Think of the emotional energy it takes for her to go to her sister or her friends, and you need to be that buffer, or just the emotional energy to know that you might run into your ex. And every time she steps foot in that gym, it takes such emotional energy. That keeps your body in your mind stuck in that mental space. And until she frees herself of that, she's always going to be stuck. That's why if you're stalking your ex, if you're looking at their Instagram stories, I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but if you really want to be free of them, if you really want to move on from the person, I'm guessing, and if you're out there, if you're struggling moving on with someone and you've said to your friends, I just want to get over it. I just want to be happy. I'm just tired of feeling this way. If that is you got to help yourself. You got to block them, delete their numbers. You have to take the extremes and stop making the excuses of, well, I don't want to let them win and yada, yada, yada. No, you're letting them win by all the emotional energy you're putting into them still without being them a part of your life. And that energy that we have is priceless. It's not limitless. We only have so much. It's energy you could be putting into all sorts of different things, new hobbies, activities, things you could be learning. But no, you're stuck just obsessing over the idea of someone or who they might be dating. And again, I get it. I get it. I've been there. But you're not letting them win by choosing to separate yourself from them and allow yourself to heal so that once you're healed, you can go back to whatever fucking gym you want because you've learned to move away and it's no longer a triggering event for you. So I know it's hard. I know it's a challenge, but do yourself a favor and stop focusing all your emotional energy on someone you claim to not want to be a part of your life. And until you have gone out of your way to stop giving them access, you will never be free of them. All right, well, we're back. I'm just out of curious. I know we played the clip, but in kind of your words, what was the advice that I offered you in our last call?
You told me very matter-of-factly to leave the gym, that it's not that big of a deal to leave a CrossFit gym. And I didn't want to listen. And I got myself into a lot more trouble after we hung up. So.
And what was the reason why I said you should leave the gym?
Just that I think you said I wasn't going to get a medal for being uncomfortable or in pain. And I don't win anything by being around people that make me feel bad about myself and affect my mental health.
Yeah, I did the Girls Gotta Eat podcast and we were talking about relationships in general. And I kind of coined the phrase love martyr. And I was referring to myself in the past, how I would approach similar situations, right? Where I would, kind of that metal mentality. It's just like, well, I'm doing it for love,
Yeah.
And I would kind of martyr myself and act like I was some sort of hero in the story because I was putting up with bullshit I didn't deserve.
Well, and also, if I remember correctly, we'd gotten some written updates from you and it felt like you were making progress of, finding new gyms or doing kind of like a trial membership.
Yeah, but there was always an excuse as
Nick
to why.
was basically like, you have to pull the trigger. You have to leave.
I did not give it anything.
So when
I
you got
was
off,
very reluctantly trying to take your advice, but I didn't want to do it.
What'd you do after you got off the call with us?
Yeah. So it wasn't that long after our last podcast episode that he was blocked on everything, but I was still going to the gym, so it really wasn't doing anything because he was still in my life. He invited me over to his house, and I went.
Katie.
And then we started hooking up shortly after that for about a month. And I know, I felt terrible. And then you guys—
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
You guys reached out in an email and were like, how's it going? Did you find a new gym? And I read that email while I was like with him. And I was like, I can't respond. I didn't
balls
do it.
in your hand. And
The other hand is the email.
you're juggling his balls in your email.
It was not good.
So you felt shame.
So awful.
You felt some shame.
What am I doing?
So then what happened?
I was so ashamed. I even think I wrote that back. I was like, I couldn't write you guys back. I was too ashamed.
I was too ashamed to respond. And then you said you felt like garbage.
No, we don't want you to feel like garbage, but we checked in to hold you accountable.
Well,
man.
listen. I mean, I'm half joking. Obviously, we want you to be happy, but clearly you're someone who is resistant, of actually taking advice. I mean, you'll ask for it. And listen, you're not the only one. We all have a hard time sometimes doing this, but it was the shame in yourself that it sounds like maybe there's a light at the end of this tunnel and you actually have a positive update for us, but maybe it was that shame. Yeah.
There was equal parts shame and then equal parts I pulled the curtain back on this guy all the way and I did not like what I saw.
How so? What do you mean?
So we were hooking up and I found out through one of my friends that he got a girl's number from a bar. And then when I confronted him about it, he got mad at me and accused me of eavesdropping. And I just very much, I don't know what came over me. I was so calm. I was like, look, this isn't going to work. You're clearly not looking for a relationship. I clearly am. So I don't want to do this anymore. And he got crazy. Like, he kept trying to text me all the time. He wasn't leaving me alone. I told him to stop. I said he was being controlling. He just was basically like harassing me at this point. The fact that I had to go to the owner of the gym, who was one of my good friends, and tell him, like, this is what he's doing. He was making up lies. He said he was moving away so that I would move into his house and rent his house. He was like accusing me of lying because he was noticing that like certain people in my circle like unfollowed him on social media because they were like, we don't like this guy. Like, he's a jerk. And he was texting me multiple times every day. I wasn't responding. He was coming up to me at the gym all the time. And I got really uncomfortable because I was like, I've told you to stop. I've told you you're being controlling. And he wouldn't leave me alone. And so I had like this, just one day at work, I was like, I'm done with this. This is going to keep on going forever if I allow it to. So that day I wrote the owner of the gym. I said, I'm leaving for now. I blocked him on everything. I haven't seen or spoken to him in about a month. I'm at a new gym.
That's
And
exciting.
and I went back to therapy. Like it's all working out.
Yay!
Look at that.
Yeah.
So many things.
Feels so much better.
All I
You
did is
guys
quit
were
the goddamn
right.
gym.
I know. It was, I look back now and I'm like, what a stupid thing I was hung up on because
No,
I went to another gym in between and I didn't like it. And it was making my resolve. It was weakening it because I was like, I don't like this gym. I'll just go back to my other gym and put up with crap. Then I was like, no, like I committed to at least 30 days. And then I found this other gym and I was like, 30 days. I was like, I'm signing up. And
Listen,
I did. And
you know,
I have been going
nowadays
ever
there's
since.
a CrossFit gym like Starbucks. There's one in every corner. You know, you can find someone you like.
I know, but not all of them are good.
No, I know that.
Not all of
But
them are good.
There are
So
more
I
than
found a
one,
good one.
and you can, yeah. So listen, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad. So what are the takeaways here? One, I'm always right. That's really the most important. I'm kidding. But truth is, all right, so like, listen, you did what you did. There's no sense in beating yourself up about, you know, the time that you wasted because, you know, you didn't waste our time. You were great for us. You gave us content. We thank you. People listen. They're investing in your story. We're grateful.
Yeah.
Right? You wasted your time. Right? And obviously you went through and you don't need us. You know, I'm sure you can close your eyes and visualize all the stressful moments between the time you first called us and now, and you could have avoided all those. Right? But that's the point isn't to like, you know, beat you up over it, right? The point is, how can you learn from this? This won't be the last time that you run into a situation where your body tells you this isn't right for me, but you stubbornly try to give into your ego and the validation or the drama and all the things that kept you from wanting to do what you could have just done early on, which is just simply leave the gym. Because obviously, you know, that wasn't that difficult. I'm not saying it's what you wanted, but the actual execution of it wasn't all that challenging. So you just have to remember next time you are in a situation, I want you between now and then, not to like bring yourself back to those moments, but I do want you to reflect a little bit. And I want you to think about what your body was telling you in those moments. You know, I want you to think about how you felt, the anxiety, you know, in those moments of what your body was trying to say. Your body was, you know, crying out for help, saying, this isn't healthy for you. You know, and it was sending you signals through like the anxiety that you were feeling and the sadness that you were feeling that you were ignoring via your ego. You were listening to your ego. You weren't listening to your body. And so I want you to reflect a little bit on those feelings so that you can recognize them in the future, so that when you do find yourself in a situation or meet another guy who, you know, pretends to be one thing and shows you that he's another, that you can respond quicker and you are less stubborn with yourself. And you will find this simple and easy solution, which is to just remove yourself from the drama or the toxic situation and accept that you deserve better.
Yeah. That's literally like almost what my therapist said. She was like, you need to recognize your non-negotiables and the red flags and even have an accountability partner if you need one to see them if you don't.
Yeah.
To help remove you from situations so you don't repeat these patterns again.
And that's all you can do, you know?
So, yeah.
Just don't do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know.
And but it's not going to come easy, you know? When I emphasize that because continue with the therapy, continue to doing the work on why maybe some of your behavior is attracting some of these people, right? Get better at identifying that, but you do really need to recognize that, because unless you actually, you know, find yourself in those moments, your default is going to be to do what you normally do. And so when you make these decisions to change course and change your behavior, it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you're going to want to make excuses to why to not do the right thing. So prepare yourself for that.
That already happened. The first 2 weeks I was questioning every move I was making because I hadn't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
This was the farthest I had ever gone to make a change for my future. And I knew that I wouldn't be happy as long as he was in my life in some capacity. I would be in this state of misery, which was comfortable for me, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah. You were comfortable
But
with the
I-
drama. It wasn't boring.
But I feel so much lighter. I
Yeah.
thought about the 3-week mark and I found this new gym and it was just like, I was feeling optimistic.
That's awesome.
I look back and I can't change anything, but I just kept thinking like, why was I clinging so hard to this? Like there's peace on the other side of the tunnel. And all I had to do was walk through it. And I was too scared to.
At least you're there, you know? And so
Yeah.
part of it maybe comes from, a lack of self-confidence and things like that. You clearly work on yourself. You do therapy, you go to the gym, you invest in yourself. That is great. Now you have to reap the rewards. And those rewards is knowing that you're worthy of being treated right and having expectations around that and holding people accountable and setting boundaries with yourself and enforcing those boundaries with yourself. And, you're a beautiful person who invests in themselves. I mean, there's, any guy would be lucky to have you, but you have to believe it first. And then you have to show it through your actions. And you're not willing to put up with crap, and you're not willing to put up with shitty men who treat you poorly so that your ego can be validated because you want to feel special, because you want to have them treat you like a princess because they treated everyone else shitty.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, I'm really proud of you. We're all really proud of you. Another round of applause.
Woo! Yay,
Thank
Katie!
you.
We would play
Thanks
it-
for helping me this whole time. Third time's the charm.
Anytime, but you honestly did the work on your own, We just offered a little bit of shame. It was really Genevieve in her email.
What? Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know my genuine email would
Yeah.
elicit that. But we're happy for you.
Genevieve makes me feel like garbage every day.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. It's not just you.
No, you guys were so nice. I was just very like, no, I hadn't done anything. Don't
okay.
check up on me. I'm not in the right place, which is why I reached out once I started making the right moves.
But those are like
I knew I couldn't come back on here for the third time and be like, I still haven't left the gym.
Yeah.
I still talk to
Yeah,
him.
we
I
would've
still
fired
see
you.
him.
But those are the type of friends that we all need. It's not the like, oh, we're just going to go out and talk about superficial things and have a really good time. It's the friends where you're like, oof, that was like a deep tissue massage and it hurt a little bit, but I'm better for it.
And I don't know what your dating situation is now, but it wouldn't,
Exactly.
I don't think it'd kill you to be single for a minute. Listen, keep the doors and windows open to the rooms you want to fill. I'm a big believer in it.
That's what I'm doing.
Stay open.
I am focusing on myself right
yeah.
now.
If something comes into your life that surprises you, great. Entertain it, but take it slow. Take it very slow.
Yeah.
And just kind of really get good at, focus on spoiling yourself, being comfortable with yourself, and search out things that give you comfort, that give you security, and help train your body, to respond to the signals that your body gives you, if that makes any sense. Because listen to your body. Your body usually doesn't lie to you. It's our egos that lie to us and our heads and all those other things. But
I learned that the hard way this summer. I literally got sick over the summer, like really, really bad while I was with this guy.
Yeah.
And
that was your
my
body,
body was
crying
like,
out for help.
Yep. It was 100% my body saying, we don't like this guy. Get him away from us.
If a guy makes you anxious, that's your body telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying every time you get anxious, you need to run, but it is, if you get anxious, you need to ask questions. You need to get clarity, and you need to get good at asking those questions. And if something doesn't make sense, you ask a follow-up question. And if it continues not to make sense, then you have the answer that you have, which is, this guy is not giving me the answers that are taking away my anxiety. My body's telling me there's something off here, and I need to respect that and move on. Because simple questions deserve simple answers. And when you ask simple questions and you get complicated answers, there's a reason why. And it's usually not good.
I'm learning.
All right. Well, good luck. We're really proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your help, everybody.
We're here to
love
help.
you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow. Another doozy. We got one more writer-inner?
Yes, we do. It's Sabrina, who we've talked to. I think this is the third time we've talked to her. She needed advice on how to break up with her boyfriend of almost 5 years, but then didn't end up breaking up with him. Remember?
Yes. And this was the one where, I feel like she really liked the mom. Like, that was one thing where she was like, oh, but I know his family.
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
he was putting in
But then he
zero effort.
But then he got better?
But then when
Yes.
she went to break up with him, they didn't end up breaking up because it was like big wake up call vibes.
And he was agreeing with all the points she made.
Is he
which
still
she thought-
woke?
Yes. It has been only 3 months since my attempted breakup, but things have been amazing. After seeing my therapist, I felt much more confident in my relationship, and she said that it's really a really good sign that he was able to acknowledge and take ownership of his past faults, and that things are not always going to be forward steps, but his ability to try and be open is the most important part. Now, every week, we have a relationship check-in where we can communicate openly about where we have been striving or where we need to improve. It's really opened our lines of communication. We have been dating and not just being together. I truly feel like he's my best friend again.
They're being intentional.
Yeah. Just talking and laughing together more has really been amazing, and he's really stepped up with the small things, like bringing me coffee in bed when he has spare times in the morning. That's amazing. They're now moving in together in September, and have already made steps to ensure a smooth transition by having really open communication. He even asked that I show him exactly how I like the bathroom cleaned, so when he does it, I don't have to do it again after him, which I thought was really sweet.
She's going to hate my next bit of advice. This is awesome. This is great. Moving in, fine, wonderful. But like at some point, you're going to have to just settle in. And right now, it's so good. They're like this new honeymoon phase. Oh, let's take another big step. Let's move in. That's great. But like that next, let's get engaged 3 months after. Like, don't run the risk of keeping that high going by keep making another big steps. Like, let it settle in. See if you can maintain this behavior for a longer period of time. Because, you know, anyone could put some effort in for a few months, is all I'm saying. So you're young, enjoy it. You know, you're doing amazingly. I love these check-ins, but prove it out, you know, make sure it lasts. So, you know, once you move in, settle into that routine and make sure it stays consistent. Because at some point, when you feel disconnected or life happens, do you guys still maintain these exercises that you've implemented? Just some 2 cents. Because yeah, some people just like to keep the train going, and like once the high wears off of the move in, that's when usually the engagement happens, and then the, you know, marriage and it's kids, and it's just like you don't want to be chasing that relationship high.
Sound advice.
Yeah. All right. Here's our last caller for your updates. Hope you enjoy. Welcome back, Jenna.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you again. So last time we spoke, you were not sure if you should essentially shoot your shot from someone you were friends with for a long time. You were pretty sure you had some feelings. It was an active situation. Play it.
We have an active situation.
And then we sent a text. You know what? How about we play a quick clip to remind our audience of the original call? How can we help, Jenna?
So I think I have feelings for my guy friend who might be moving to a different country, and I'm wondering if I should tell him.
Okay, well, we're going to have to solve the case of think and might. So
Yeah.
let's start with your feelings. Why do you think you might have feelings for him?
Because we've been friends for a long time. So since college, ran in the same friend group. I never really looked at him that way. We both dated other people. And recently, within the past year, we've just been communicating a lot more, like pretty much every day, mostly texting. And then on the weekends, we'll go out with our group of friends. And he's a very flirty person. So I never really looked too much into it. But recently when we were out, I came home and was like, maybe I'm starting to develop feelings. And so I'm wondering if it's just because of that constant communication or if it's something deeper.
Or what does your gut tell you?
I don't know. That's the tricky part because he's very supportive. He's everything that my ex wasn't.
It sounds to me like this conversation was about you, us trying to figure out how you feel about him. And what I'm hearing for you is you trying to figure out how he feels about you.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of both.
But let's focus on how you feel about him.
Okay.
Regardless of how he feels about you. So what does your gut tell you about how you feel about him?
That it's nice and comfortable and something that I haven't really had before. And it's like a secure partner. And I feel like I tend to go for very emotionally unavailable people.
Okay.
And I like the fact that we've known each other for a long time and been friends. But I guess I'm nervous of does he like me?
Sure. Totally normal. Understandable. It's important to know our feelings and then we can worry about their feelings. We tend to focus too much on their feelings and not enough about our feelings. And you might get
I read that in your book.
Yeah, thanks. But you might get an answer that makes the part about their feelings irrelevant depending on how you feel about the situation.
Mhm.
So we waste a lot of time doing that. Let's focus on how you feel, because how you feel is what matters most. And you'll get your answer about how he feels when you ask him or when you let him know. The simple answer is, if we figure out that you, in fact, do have feelings that go beyond friendship with this guy, yeah, you fucking should let him know. And then let him decide for himself what he wants to do with that information. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, I'm pretty sure I love the guy, to 1 being like, I see him as a brother. Where do you fall on the scale?
Probably closer like 6, 7, maybe.
Okay, pretty high. Oh, I'll send him a nude.
Send him a nude?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm joking, but listen, I just, at the end of the day, I know this feels complicated for you. It's just not that complicated. Of course you should tell him, is, I guess, my answer. I don't think there's anything wrong with a text that's some version of like, I'm about to hit you with something you might find surprising, you may not.
Incoming.
That's what you should say. Hey, I
Really?
got some, yeah. Hey, what are you doing? Are you sitting down? I have some news. I think it's time we consider being romantic or dating and being more than friends.
Yeah, or what do you think of like, I like you as more than a friend? What do you think?
Okay, I like that better. Maybe,
Sure.
no?
I don't know. It's fine. I mean, there's no wrong answer.
I feel like if I just come out with like what do you think of us dating or something, like he might think it's a joke.
No, I don't think you should ask him a question. You're only making statements.
Only statements.
I like you. Take some time. This is probably a lot for you.
That doesn't seem too serious, or does that seem like funny?
Well, throw in a winky emoji. I don't know. You do want him to take you seriously.
Yeah.
I don't care if you make him laugh. What I care is that he knows that you're serious and that you are going to be okay, and you're not, well, it's okay if you don't want to, and it's fine, and I hope I didn't upset you with this news, and blah, blah. Like, don't apologize for how you feel about him. And yeah, you know, one way, he'll let you know one way or the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, but
I know, but hit him with the, we're not just friends. It's no longer available to him to have some of you if he doesn't want all of you. That you're not just friends. The big thing is once you try to set this boundary, you need to enforce it, and you cannot go back to just being just friends. If he does I think you're great, and I just don't know, and I just think of us as friends, and you know, I don't want to lose our friendship. You just say, hey, listen, I can't help how I feel. Turns out you're a wonderful guy who I want to explore something with, and I will miss our friendship. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't see you as just a friend, so I can't just be your friend. So if this is how you feel, I totally get it, but this is also how I feel, and you know, I respect your feelings and need to respect mine, so we're not friends. And just be very matter of fact and very calm.
Yep.
And then stop giving him access to you. If his response is some version of, oh, I don't want to ruin this friendship, then you're going to have to cut off access and give him a glimpse into what life is like without having you in his life. So then he can reevaluate how he actually feels about you. Well, is this a person I really value in my life? Do I need her? Are my feelings stronger than I anticipated? You've given him no reason at this point to even question if his feelings are more serious. So calm, confident, statements only. The worst case scenario, your ego's a little bruised. You don't know if this is your future husband. You don't know if you're even in love with him. All you know is that you like him, you think there's potential there, and you want to explore it. And if you find out he doesn't feel the same way about you, then that'll help you process that. And maybe, hopefully, you will take that into account as someone who's like, oh, well, he doesn't feel the same way. And yeah, my ego's a little bruised, but at the end of the day, then I have my answer. I really think we should text him right now. At least we'll be here for you.
But I know he's in the office, so I just wonder if you guys would really get a reply right away. Like it might be long.
I feel like it's less about a response. It's just if you want a little hype squad with you when you send it.
You need to break the ice. Yeah. There's no good time.
Okay. Let's just send the text. Before I
All right. Ready?
get scared. Yes.
All right. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going first one. Does it look bad if I just do them back to back?
No.
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Okay.
That was you
one
texting.
Done. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
I love it.
Yep. Send it.
That's the second one's the worst one. Okay.
Okay, you got
That's
it.
the best one.
You got it. 3, 2, 1, send.
Okay, done.
Okay.
Now I'm putting my phone on airplane
You
mode.
sent
for
him
the
all-
Did you
rest
send the
of
third one
day.
too?
No, don't put it on airplane mode the rest of the day.
And also, for the record, I'm optimistic. I think he's going to have the biggest fucking smile on his face when he sees these texts. And I think he's going to be fucking thrilled.
All right, we're back. So we sent the text. It was a doozy. What is the update?
Okay, so the update is that he was seeing someone that I was was seeing someone that I was actually unaware of, just because we don't really talk about our feelings or like dating life. And he was just like, things are going great with
So-and-so.
her name. And then, and I'd like to see where things continue to go. And I was like, oh, I'm surprised to hear you're like seeing someone, seeing that like you're moving and whatever. But like, I want to take a little bit of a step back from this like friendship. I don't
So
think it's fair to be talking to.
Oh, that's right. So he was moving and you were doing this before he was moving, but he kind of surprised you that he had started seeing someone who lived in the area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, it was like very out of left field. So I took some time and was like, okay, if he's seeing someone, how serious really is he about moving? Because he always said that plane ticket was refundable or like he didn't have to go. And clearly you were right that maybe he's just in his later 20s and maybe his life hasn't panned out like he had originally planned. And so I just replied and was like, oh, I'm like surprised to hear you're seeing someone. If that's the case, like I don't want to be communicating on a daily basis. Like I don't think it's fair to me or this person you're seeing.
Especially after
If
you
still
kind of acknowledge that it's a little different for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I just said, I was like, if you're still having any sort of going away party or if you wind up leaving, like would love to like see you and whatever and keep me posted. And he was like, yeah, of course.
Love that.
Then
That was a
we
perfect
saw each
response,
other.
by the way. Oh, okay. Well,
Oh. Well, then
that part was
we
great.
Run in the same,
Yeah.
well, we run in the same friend group.
Okay.
So like we ran into each other out after that. And he hard launched her on Instagram.
Was that right after you kind of set that boundary with him?
Like, when did we talk? I want to say like a week or two later. It was like Labor Day weekend. They went on a trip. So I was like, okay.
All right.
What were
And
you were
then there was, like-
theorizing? He was
oh,
like,
sorry.
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
now I'm down to one. I might as well hard launch her.
Yeah, I don't know if it was nefarious like that, but I was curious if there's, it maybe offered him some clarity, type of thing. Because I'm
Yeah.
not saying he was doing
Yep.
anything nefarious or wrong, but like, you kind of pulling yourself aside maybe made him almost double down and was like, and to his credit, he said he wanted to see where it was going. So that's him, he might as well fuck around and find out with her. So
Yeah.
he did that.
Well, and since we run in the same friend group, I was like hearing some of the like drama behind it. And like, I kind of heard that she was like a little scared after he hard launched her so quickly and all this stuff. So fast forward through all that drama. This past weekend, he asked me if I was out, came to where I was. We like caught up in person. We actually talked about the feelings thing because I was like, oh, how's so-and-so? And he was like, oh, everything went downhill after I posted that picture. Like, we're not really talking anymore. And I was like, okay. So like when I had texted you saying I had feelings for you, you really just said you were interested in this girl. Like, now that the girl's not in the picture, like, do you have anything else to say? Which I was like
Good for
very
you.
proud of myself for saying this
Ama-
in
you
person
sh-
because it's not like me.
As you
And,
should. Let's just take a moment and give you a round of applause. No, but seriously, like so many people don't. I mean, it's just like a communication epidemic in this world where it's just like, let's just avoid the tough question. So you asked the tough question, even though you weren't sure what the answer was going to be. And that is honestly that's great. That's huge. Good for you.
Yeah, I think sending those texts and telling him how I felt really taught me that there is so much power in vulnerability. And it just made me feel like I told him how I feel. I said my piece and that's all I can do. Like, there's no reason to be like embarrassed of how I feel. So then when I told him in person, he was like, well, you know how I feel. And I was like, no, I don't know how you feel. And he was like, we're best friends. And I was like, okay. And then kind of like let that go. And we were talking about something else. And he was like, I was like telling a story and he was like, oh, wait, you went on a date? Like with who? How'd that go? And blah, blah, blah. Like, where did you guys meet? Like, seemed very weird. And then
please tell me you didn't give him
Sure.
details.
No, I was just like, it was fine.
Okay. Next time you can say in the nicest possible way, you don't be mean about it. You just say, listen, I'm just realizing I'm reevaluating this relationship. And obviously because of how I feel, it's just, none of your business.
Yeah, I don't want to share that.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it before, so it was kind of weird. It was like, it was a story within a story. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like I was like, hey, I went on this date,
But it sounds like you did a pretty great job. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a guy that I was like, kind of, I don't know, talking to showed up at the place we were at, and he was very rude to that guy. My friend was.
Yeah.
He was like very standoffish. And
Great. We love
so
that.
I was like, okay. Yeah, but like it's all these mixed signals, and I'm like just not trying to play those
It's
games.
it's not a mixed signal, and I'm glad you're not trying to play the games. And maybe that's him going through some journey of trying to figure out, like he's clearly saw you as a friend. He, decided you were in that bucket, so to speak, Very rarely do people like admit they have feelings for someone like that situation. The other person's like, oh my God, same, they might have to go through some process. So it's him going through a process. It's not him giving you mixed signals. It's, him losing control of a situation. Maybe that's all it is. What's good is that you didn't give in to that. You didn't respond to that, because what he wants is to you to care. Why are you mad? Why do you care? You ask him those questions. Again, confusion is key. Act confused. I don't really know why you're acting that way, but okay. You've made it clear how you feel about me. We're just friends. So don't be rude to people I'm on dates with. It's that simple.
I think I just kind of didn't acknowledge it and
That's
pretended like I wasn't.
That's also fine. I actually, I love that just the same. As long as you didn't react in a way that made him get that power back. That's him losing power of a situation and him acting out. And usually when that happens, the person who's used to not having power will give that power right back by validating that person. Oh, no, it's okay. I don't want to upset you. And, you're still my favorite. Oh my God. No, oh, do you love me? Oh, no. Okay. Stuff like that, So it sounds like you really nailed all of these moments. So where are we now?
We haven't really texted since Saturday, which is usually our normal. That was the last time we saw each other. But we've sent some Instagram DMs back and forth.
Stop it.
Well, just like
Nope.
like a meme
Nope.
or whatever.
I don't care. No, we're not friends.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
We're not.
Stop it. You don't need to block them unless you can't demonstrate self-control. Block, but you have to stop responding to him.
So if he sends it, I can't even just like it?
Nope.
Well, I'll remember that for next time. But I also think through this whole thing, I realized that I maybe like him emotionally, but not physically. I'm emotionally attracted to him, but physically, I'm eh.
There you go.
So I think that was a big one.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no point in being this guy's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you are starving for friends, and I don't think you are, he is a guy you had a nice connection with who played, a part-time boyfriend role in a way, He kind of filled in the gaps where a boyfriend would if you had one, but you don't. You're single, that's fine. But now that you kind of broken that barrier and did that difficult thing, which was to be vulnerable, it would just be mean to yourself to just fuck with yourself because it's going to get, confusing. And so embrace the clarity that you're getting from this situation and replace what he's doing for you with someone else, because there is nothing he is offering you that you can't find in other spaces other than drama.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think too, he taught me what part of what I want in a boyfriend. So I like that.
Love that. Yeah.
The supportive partner role.
And it can be, a learning experience, even if it doesn't end up being him at the end. You know what I mean? You can always have the opportunity to kind of take those positives out of it, which I think is great.
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be him in the end. And I think this whole thing just taught me how to be confident and communicate my feelings and not mistake a friendship or constant communication for attachment.
Love.
Yeah. You're nailing it now. You just got to stop responding to his silly DMs. Because he's doing it's not an accident. He just wants to see if he's still, even that double tap is him. You're giving him a fix. And that is, does she still care? Can I get her to respond? Can I get her to pay attention to me? Can I get her to prioritize me? And he's not a bad guy. He doesn't feel the same way you felt. That's fine. He has a right to, but you realize that you're not homies. You're not friends. You don't need another guy friend. especially one that you ever had, confusing feelings for. And if he wants to come around and say, hey, you know what? I've been doing a lot of soul searching. I miss our friendship. I miss our connection. And maybe we should try something. Then, you can reevaluate and ask yourself, do I still feel the same way? Do I, want to embrace this emotional connection I feel like I have with them despite my lack of physical connection? You can have that conversation with yourself, but there's no need to have that until he does that, if he does that. And if he doesn't do that, you guys are just going to have to mourn the loss of a nice little friendship that you had. And it's okay to mourn because he did, you had a nice little friendship. But that friendship wasn't just a friendship, and it had a due date, an expiration date rather. And that expiration date usually happens when someone, is vulnerable like you were.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Well, props all around. You crushed it. Again, most important thing, you were vulnerable. You found power in that vulnerability, and that is something you can take forward in future situations.
Yeah, thank you. Your advice was great and taught me how to be like a little bit more confident in myself. It
wouldn't blow my mind once you finally totally cut him off that he maybe does surprise you, but when he does, if you want, if it's worth a conversation, have the conversation, but challenge him. Just be like, well, why now? Maybe that's the kick in the pants he needed. I don't know, but hold him accountable to really follow through. Don't let him be wishy-washy. Don't let him give 60% or 70% or 80%. He has to give 100%. And that 100% is, you know what? I've realized by not having you in my life over the past month or few weeks or whatever, made me realize that maybe there is something there and I really want to give this a shot. So let's commit. Can we try to date? Can we try to turn this into a relationship? And then you can decide. But he can't do half of that. He has to actually tell you that he wants to try with you. He can't say, well, I don't know what I want, but I just know that I miss you. Can't say that.
Yeah, I'm all too familiar with situationships, and I will refuse to get back in one of those again.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for the update. We're proud of you. Progress was made. Case closed.
Is it though?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It might not be. We don't know.
Well, for now,
him.
case, sometimes you have to reopen a case, but right now the case is very much closed because she is confident in this outcome. And if this is the outcome, there's no more questions to be asked.
True.
But if there's a new piece of evidence.
If he says anything more, I'll let you guys know.
All right. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Thank you so much for the update.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What an episode. Hope you all enjoyed. We enjoyed bringing it to you. If you are thirsting for more updates, remember, 14 additional update specials behind Viall Files Plus. Just go to viallfiles.com. Click on it. You get a 7-day free trial. In addition to that, there's Vanderpump recaps. There's Pop Extra, which is all the pop culture topics we don't get to talk about on either Going Deeper or Reality Recap. There's updates. There's episodes of Better Date Than Never if you don't get to join us live. That and so much more. So check it out. We'll see you back on Monday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.